to break it down like whatever you want.
If your soul loves the sun, money rock on. If your soul loves the sun, money rock on. If your soul loves the sun, money rock on. If your soul loves the sun, money rock on. If your soul loves the sun, money rock on. If your soul loves the sun, money rock on. If your soul loves the sun, money rock on.
Break it down like whatever you want.
Warming up a bit now, innit?
Over the posts, you know, people don't really read extensively, so no, I like to rabbit on. I like to rabbit on, so yeah, people don't really read.
So Rio, can I ask you, how long have you been doing this?
How long have I been doing
Well, just activism.
activism?
Yeah,
Really and truly,
yeah.
I say all my life. I'm gonna say, because I've always been that kid in school who is questioning the teachers, questioning why we're doing certain things,
Yeah.
trying to rally people together to say, no, we're not going down the corridor, like mischievously, but it's more against authority. So that's one aspect of it. Then if you're talking about what we're doing now, David Icke, the first book that I read when I was 18, and then after that, it was like the world is upside down. You know, what they've told us is not correct. So from there, I've been active in the community from there. Started a football team, because my background's football. And through football, because most of the rules of life I've learned through football, I wanted to impart them same rules, discipline, teamwork, authority, skills, you know, getting into a program and just getting the kids off the streets. So that's where it started from. And then that was when I was 20, 21, 22. So since then, on and off, you know, I've been, well, I say on and off, for 10 years I was doing that. I worked in a school, stopped doing that, and then I picked it back up a couple of years back. Actually went to prison, you know, went to prison for actually doing it the wrong way round, telling kids to stay off the street and not do drugs, and then I went into selling drugs, bit backwards in it, bit like the world.
Wow.
So yeah, I went to prison for that, came back renewed, and you know, realised that my efforts are best placed by doing community work and
You're too smart for that.
and speaking to the people. So that's it, galvanizing the people, the people's spirits. You just mentioned it before about, you know, how people are almost interacting with all these concepts. It's like, which one are they? You wear a mask but you're awake, you wear a mask but you're asleep, you don't wear a mask but you're asleep, you don't wear it. Like, there's a load of things going on. And what that says to me is that the spirit of people needs uplifting, you know, and we're able to see with the upliftment of people's spirit, we can kind of get more of a gauge of, all right guys, attention in that, just a little bit more information about the PCR test and the lockdowns and things like that.
Oh, true.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, do you find that probably, what we need to do is really, as a population, we need to get back to what is classed as a shared truth. Okay. We haven't got a shared truth anymore, have we now? Because everyone's got their own version of a truth.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's, how can you come together if there's so many elements of what we perceive as the truth? So a guy wearing a mask, for all the reasons he's wearing a mask, that's his version of the truth. The guy that wants to go on a protest telling you to not wear that mask, he's got his version of the truth. We're all human beings, and the very thing that's affecting both people is affecting both people, regardless of their interpretation of that truth. So it's like, how the hell do we get back to that shared truth where we can all go, you know what? That's where I'm at, because I can see the differences.
You're right there, and that's probably the $1 million question, isn't it? That I found that out, that it's not, for instance, we've got a group, to touch on your point, we've got a group that we get together, we've been getting together for the last 2 months, almost every night, trying to come up with what I would call a blueprint for success.
Right.
You know, i.e., what can be the common rules, regulations, and common purpose, not that common purpose, common purpose, as though to speak, and what we can all follow. You know, some are here for 5G, some are here for, you know, save our children, some are here for media manipulation, some are here for whatever you're here for. But how do we tie them all together? That's, as you said, that's like the $1 million question. Once we do that and we accept that this is it, why we're actually in this situation, then we move forward. I think how that's done without being disrespectful to, you know, even those who are awake, we're almost all followers in a sense. You know, I'm a follower, I consider myself a leader, but if someone's got a better plan or a better scenario for me to follow, hell yeah, I'm the best follower then. You know, I'll follow that plan to the letter. So it's no.
It shows how lost we are, though, doesn't it?
It does.
That we try to work it out.
It does.
And we're all prepared to give people a try and, you know,
Yep.
go with this leader, go with that leader.
Yep.
For the most positive intentions.
Yep.
But ultimately, this is an individual thing, isn't it?
Yep.
This ain't a one leader's got the whole kind of let's just follow. We've
Yep.
all got to rise up as an individual.
Yep.
And then make that collective that is the leader itself, in a sense.
100%.
But it's like you say, it's how do you get there? It's the little fights, little ideas to try and work all that out, I guess. And then you've got a population of people that are just don't even want to see it
Yeah.
as well.
Well, that's a good point. And the question to that is, what is your, you know, people say, what's the aim? What's the goal? Where are we going with this? What, you know, how are we trying to get some type of remedy? What are your aims and objectives? For me personally, primarily, whilst we're all here collectively, because it's a collective enemy as such, as though to speak, or collective opposition, for me, like you said, it's for yourself initially. You know, it goes back to being for yourself. Why is this? Because I feel oppressed. I feel like these guys are, you know, kind of against my own, you know, willing to express my own free will. We can all feel that. So it's primarily it's a selfish thing first. Like, you know, I want it. Then you'll go to, if you've got kids, I've got kids. Then you'll go to my mum, my dad, and then you work out to the community. You know, the community being those who feel the same as us. So in terms of, you know, how do we go about it and what's our remedy? Let's say everyone turns around the world in a year's time and says, well, I hear you, Rio. I hear you guys. Thank you for the information that you're giving, but I just want to take I want to take the test and I want to take the vaccines and thank you. Like, what do you do then? My thing is, then I want to be able to live in a world with everybody else with my free will. I don't want to then have to do what they're doing just because they want to do it, because I don't want to do it. So, you know, whilst it is...
So what you're saying is now, I guess, the libertarians coming out in people that are awakening. In a sense, it's freedom of choice.
Freedom of choice, that's it. Freedom of choice, that's it. I think Michaela or somebody said that before. I'm pro-choice,
yes.
You know, and that was another spin on, but she says she's not anti-vax.
Yes.
She says she's down for vaccine,
yeah.
Which again is good because there's almost a no, not for the vaccines. But if for instance, if us three here were saying no, you can't have the vaccine, then that lady that was willing to come out and fight with us, we would have already outlawed her because she's not for the vaccines.
Yeah.
So we had to find some common ground. She said pro-choice. That's what.
It's the safest place to be at.
Safest place.
Because what you feel with what's going on with the different 7 out of 10 will have the vaccine, try to give the idea that there's the 3 out of 10 that are just going to be, you know, problematic.
Yeah.
It's almost like the two wolves are voting to have the sheep for dinner.
Exactly.
And we don't want a scenario like that. When you know, as an individual, I've got the choice whether I want it or not.
Yep.
I'm not doing it for negligent reasons. I could probably articulate myself very well. as opposed to someone who's readily, happily gonna have the vaccine. They can't articulate anything other than just wanting to do the right thing, if that makes any sense. So, but yeah, pro-choice, I mean, you know, I wouldn't want to deny anyone, and I don't want to force anyone not to have the vaccine. If they feel that that's their course in life, if they're vulnerable enough, then go for it. I mean, but the bottom line is I would still have concerns on how it come about, this vaccine, the length and time in which it's been brought out, and the fact that there's no accountability. You know, there's too many things stack up that make me as an individual go, I'm pro-choice and I'd rather just not have that, if that's all right. Any other alternatives going? But yeah, it's a long battle, innit?
It is a long battle, and that's almost, again, in the meetings that we have, what we're trying to figure out, what people's entry points are, because, you know, you just touched on a few points there, maybe 5 different points. What if one of those points is, for instance, pro-choice? It's like, okay, well, I believe in the vaccine, I believe that you've anti-vaxxers, so to speak. Not anti, I don't believe that, because that would have went against my point. But let's say you guys should fall in line, But I do believe, where the vaccine's concerned, for instance, you should be allowed a choice. What if that is, you know, all the other things they want you to conform with, but pro-choice is like, you can get people to see, look, I hear what you're saying, but what is the world now if just because you feel that this might hurt you, that now I lose my freedom of choice? Switch that round a minute on something that you don't particularly like or agree with. How would you feel if my sensibilities are being, you know, worked with, and you know, the government are saying yeah, but then because you think opposite, you have to fall in line with what I think. How are you going to feel? You're not going to feel, you know, so you have to almost get them to see that mechanism and that concept. It's not easy, obviously.
Because they're triggered by the fear.
Exactly.
To the point where people who feel like that are the enemy.
Guys, can I just give you that?
Yes. So we're here in Piccadilly. We're here. And look around, right? People are sat, chilling, living. Fucking waterfalls going. Ain't life great? A couple of weeks ago we were doing this. Remember the police come marching in? Yeah? Giving out fines like they were fucking Christmas crackers. But look at it. I don't see the police moving in for this. Do you?
You couldn't spare a chip, our kid, could you?